I was just gonna blow my nose, but it's all good.
Okay. Are we recording? Okay, then I'll call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Move on to roll call. Mayor Kratzky, I am present. Groko. Present. Kufal is absent tonight. Padilla.
Present.
Rose.
Present.
And Eker. Here. We have one change to the agenda. It's actually on our new agenda, but it didn't make it into the packet this weekend, that we received this weekend. Under 9C4, we are adding the pool staff list for this season, so we just need to hire them. So it's already on the agenda on the table. Okay, with that being said, do we have a motion to approve tonight's tonight's agenda?
Pardon me, I do have,
Oh.
we're going to remove the library policies.
Oh.
Michelle is not able to make it tonight.
Okay, so we're gonna move library policies under 9G. Okay. Any other changes? I already mentioned the pool staff one.
That's all I had.
Then
I'll
I'll-
make a move for approve the agenda with the amended changes.
Okay.
So move.
We have a motion by Eker, seconded by Rose. Any discussion or questions about the agenda? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried. Comments, updates, concerns? It doesn't look like we have any citizens here tonight to talk with us. Council members? I have a couple of items to mention. Leighton pointed out that it's National Public Works Week, so we want to certainly thank our public works staff for everything that they do and for our city and our community, so thank you. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is I had a resident ask me about, we have a lot of uncontrolled intersections on the west side of town. A few years ago, we added some stop signs on the east side of town, so they wondered if we could get that on a future agenda to maybe look at stop signs.
I think last time they just put them up and they didn't get the approval. They didn't need it to put them up.
Okay,
I think it'd probably be a matter of just figuring out how many and what the
Yes.
cost would be.
Yeah.
So I guess Ty could.
if we don't need it on an agenda, I'm fine with that too, but if we could just get the ball rolling about that, I know on the west side there are a lot of intersections where,
Ty, do you want to look into that? Thank you.
okay.
Did you need council approval for that, Steve? Last time you just put the stop signs up on that.
If you're going to be adding signs, I mean, you could just simply direct staff to look at it. I mean, certainly it can come back for your review and consideration. I guess you could do it either way.
Yeah, because we knew where they were going to put them up before.
Well, before it was just like one or two. I mean, as long as it doesn't become like $3,000, $4,000. I mean, I don't know.
Every other corner.
Well, let's just
Yeah.
have Ty look into it and see what he.
Yeah, that's my thought.
So,
Generally, with my experience, it would come back to the council.
yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else? Then we'll move on to city staff. Any updates? No? Okay. Then we'll move on to the consent agenda, and I'll take a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So moved. I'll second it.
Motion from Eker, seconded by Groko. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. Don't have public hearings tonight. Communication requests and petitions. There's some information about the summer reading kickoff party at the library on June 8th. Moving on to department and committee reports and action items. The first department on the agenda is the Public Works Department. So we'll have Ty come to the podium and join us.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The first thing I have is the CIPP sewer lining project. I did send out 3 quote requests, and I received 2 back. One was from Visisewer, and the other one was from Azura. And those are the totals listed below. Azura's quote was $60,994. Visisewer's was $42,600. That's for 950 feet of sanitary sewer lining. Goes all the way from Elm to Lincoln in the alleys between 7th and 8th Street. And these, the companies I sent it out to, Hutchinson has used them used them last year, so they're the ones that gave me the numbers to contact, so.
We haven't done any work with either one of them yet, have we?
Visa Sewer, we did a little bit of work on when we were doing 10th Street. We had to redo those sewers on Lake Avenue East. They're the ones that came in and televised them all. That's the only work we've done with them. They're a pretty big company. I think they're originally out of Wisconsin.
And that's Visa Sewer, right?
Huh?
Visa Sewer?
Yeah. The other one I haven't really heard of, but like I said, Hutch recommended them, said they did a good job, so.
Council have any questions for Ty? As we're looking for a motion to approve the CIPP sewer lining project and to accept the low bid from Visit Sewer in the amount of $42,600.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Padilla. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Rose. Any further discussion or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. Next, we will move on to septic disposal request.
Yeah, so I had a request from County Line Excavating. It's a local company just down between here and Nicollet. They pump out residential septic systems. And they had asked if they could dump their septic tank waste into our sewers for a fee. We were working with one guy from the sewer a couple years ago, but that kind of never progressed. If it's approved, we'd have them dump in the closest manhole west of the lift station. That's a 12-inch line that carries most of the town through that line, so there's good flow. So it would carry the waste to the lift station pretty easily. I think the biggest tank he has is 2,500 gallons. It comes out of a 3-inch line, so it's not like he'd be dumping. It's pretty reasonable.
Did he say how often this might be, or?
A couple times a week, maybe, at most.
How would you monitor how much he's putting in?
We would be there. Yeah.
How much time do you think you'd have into it? I mean, an hour?
15 minutes at a time, maybe. It doesn't usually, I don't think it takes that long to dump those tanks.
And I'm assuming there's paperwork that he'll be collecting from where he gets it, that we could
Yeah.
probably get a copy of? Just,
Yep. Yep. Yeah, because he's got to be licensed, so he's got to follow all those regulations and stuff. The reason he right now he takes it to New Ulm, and he just wanted to know if it could be somewhere closer, so he doesn't have to drive all the way there and drive all the way back. And actually, that was kind of the last guy kind of wanted the same thing, just a little bit of ease for their driving.
If we open it up to him, do you think we're gonna have problems with other people that wanna do the same? And do we have enough?
I think we can pick and choose on this particular thing. Even if we don't like something he does, we can just cut him off and stop. So. And New Ulm charges $70 per 1,000 gallons. I think that's a pretty fair price for our time.
Do we need some kind of agreement or something in writing, that?
Yeah, so if you look on
Oh, that's right.
part of that, yeah,
it is
I
in
had
there.
him.
Sorry,
I kind of made up an agreement and put our ordinance numbers that he'd have to follow in there.
And it looks good to our city attorney.
It's actually, it's Montgomery's, and we just basically copied it and changed the name, and changed the ordinances, so that's what
Plagiarized.
Montgomery.
So, yes, I mean, this is probably 99% of the way there. We should probably, maybe I'm missing it here, but just make sure it's clear that this is a revocable license, that the city can, on a staff level, can revoke at any time.
Is that something we can write up separately and have him sign?
Yes.
Okay,
I've got samples.
okay.
So as long as it's clear when this is granted, because we don't otherwise have an ordinance or a policy, that at least in the agreement, it's clear that this is at the leisure of the city. We
Yep.
can decide whether we want to do this service or not with them at any point.
Sounds good.
So you could direct us to do, a staff to create that. I've done them before, as Mark has done them. Or you could ask that that agreement would come back for review and consideration for approval.
I think if we're gonna do it, we just let them upon completing that. So, I mean, could it be something where, you know, if we approve it, just, you know, upon completing that aspect of it?
Sure.
we're fine. I mean, that way it doesn't have to come back again.
Yeah. This is a smaller contract.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm just wondering too, if we need to mention, you know, that staff should be contacted. I mean, I don't want our staff to be in the middle of mowing on the side of town and him to say, hey, I'm out here, I need you guys to come, like, that,
Yeah,
those
there's gonna be
dumping should be
definitely a
scheduled
heads up, yeah.
with staff.
There's not
So
gonna be,
when it's convenient for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that in the contract as well? If it's not in the contract, it's not there.
I don't wanna get too nitpicky, but,
Well, I mean, that's the whole purpose of putting it in
Yeah.
writing, so that it's clear, like, what, how the city's gonna do this and what the
Right.
expectations are. And so if there's something that you or your staff need out of this, then we should talk about the
Yeah.
other terms that we want in there.
Yep.
But scheduling would be a good one, revocability would definitely need to be in there. And it wouldn't be a very long set of requirements or policies, but
Should be very straightforward.
okay. So how does the council wanna proceed? You want this to come back, the contract to come back? Or are you comfortable just directing staff to create it and Mark to look it over?
I'm fine, on a small contract, directing staff, is my opinion.
And Mark looking it over.
Yeah.
He needs stuff to do.
thank you.
I mean, do we want to go a little more than $70 or just leave it at 70? I only say because, I mean, just to make sure, like Don said, it's worth our time, you know, if Ty has to come across town and deal with it, and obviously be saving this operator money as well, so. And also, I'm guessing we're not going to change this number for a while, so might as well go at like 80 and probably not touch it for a number of years.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that 2,000 gallons, that's an extra $40 to make it worthwhile.
Well, the contractor's just gonna charge the client
That's
anyway,
it.
so.
Other council members have thoughts about the cost?
Like I said, I just want to make sure it's worth our while to do it.
Good?
Yeah, 80's fine. Yep.
Okay.
Do you need a motion for all that?
Yeah, we would need a motion then to approve the proposal with the fee of 80 instead of 70 per 1,000 gallons.
I'll make a motion to approve County Line Excavating LLC to dump residential septic tank waste into our sewer for a fee of $80 per 1,000 gallons upon staff review of the contract. Is that good?
A motion from Rose. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Eker. Any further discussion or comments? Not all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say no. Motion carried. Next, we have inflow and infiltration project updates. Do you have anything for us?
Yeah, just a small update. We only have a few left to get inspected. We did send out a second letter a week or two ago to the people that hadn't scheduled anything yet. And they've been trickling in, but they've been doing pretty good as far as that goes. So that's good. And Chirpy Contracting did connect those two sewer line, or those two manholes on Lincoln last week, so that's all done. So, moving forward with it, so.
Then we can move on to 9C4, the Gaylord Area Aquatic Center staff hiring.
So there's, on this list, there's 46 total. We actually have a really good contingent of lifeguards. The day before the applications were due, we only had 11. So we were a little bit worried about that, and I think we got 8 or 9 of them on Friday, so they've been kind of piling in, so it's really nice to have that many lifeguards, be able to have that many lifeguards. So usually we're a little short in past years, so
Do you know how many are WSI offhand?
I don't right offhand. There's quite a few of them though.
Quite a few.
Yeah,
Enough?
yeah, yep. So just asking the council to approve the staff hiring.
I'll make a motion to approve the staff hiring.
I'll second it.
A motion from Padilla, seconded by Groko. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Pool opening is on June 2nd. And just so council know, I don't know if I mentioned this before, I had to do 2 patches on the big pool. Where Leighton knows where the tile is. It actually popped up. One was on a wall, the whole section, I cut it out and the whole thing came off in one piece. So I had to patch that, and also a part where, right in the center of the pool, popped off, the tile came out, and you couldn't get anybody here until whenever, because they're really busy, so Alex and I patched it, and it actually turned out really nice, so just so you're aware.
So you're confident it's gonna hold water?
Hopefully it lasts until, I just want it to last until the end of the year. Then the pros can come in, but it actually went down really well and came apart. It's not as hard as it looks, but it's not easy either. But we had to do something to get it, and it seems pretty solid, so.
For, isn't going forward, it seems like this is a year-to-year thing. I mean, would it hurt to maybe go out there in late March and,
I think this happened over the winter.
yeah,
And actually, the first bottom patch on the bottom I found, and I patched that, and maybe 4 days later, Alex actually found that piece on the wall that was about ready to fall out, so we went and did that one quick too that day, so. So, yeah, just so everybody's aware, but everything else at the pool's going good so far. Everything's setting up nice, so that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
Next, under Department and Committee reports, we have the Police Department and 9D1, the Drone Unmanned Aerial System Policy. Good evening, Officer Schmidt.
Good evening. I'm coming to you for a proposal on a drone program for the department. Basically, kind of what I've seen throughout the area and the county, that I believe that there is a need for one, and that I've kind of taken upon myself to establish this program throughout the different incidences that I've seen throughout the area, and that we've been requesting different programs from different counties, from Brown County to Walm and Carver County and other various agencies, is that I feel that it's in our best interest to have our own program, and that it's in their best interest to keep their stuff, or their programs and their resources in their own counties. So that's where I'm going with this. It's basically to promote public safety on our end, and to also basically have it essentially be a flying canine, that if there's another agency that requests it from us, my intent and willingness to go to other agencies to assist is also there as well. So that's been my thought process going forward with this. And for the cost of it, I've been going to basically local nonprofits and other establishments, and so far I've raised $15,000 for this. And there's been a clear want, or at least a vision of where they see that it's a need in the area. And then per statute 62619, subdivision 9 to 10, is that we are required to have a public hearing from the citizenry to offer their input and comments, concerns on the program before it is relegated into being official with the police department. So for this, for the different options for this, option one would be I'm asking to schedule a public hearing to be held at the next city council on June 17th, 2026. Then obviously, option 2 would be disapprove the request, or option 3 is if you guys want to think about it more down the line, to table the decision. And I'm open to any questions.
What is your plan to fly it? Are you gonna do a COA, or are you gonna do, the FAA Part 107?
So Officer Hillsheim and myself are Part 107 certified.
You're already certified?
So we put that through part of this venture. I think through the interest of kind of the community aspect of it is that we have put ourselves through this program. So it's been out of our own pocket as well, and not necessarily taken the money that we've received in donations to put this into the program. But the money that we've got donated would be more specifically for the drone and equipment itself. Officer Hillsheim, like I said, and myself have put ourselves through this program, so I think that was part of that. So we've put ourselves through the Part 107 program.
So you're tracking all the requirements for search warrants when you use them?
Yes.
And what do you think that you'll use it for?
Mostly initially missing persons, or anything as far as exigent circumstances, if there's an emergency situation that would need it. The thing that most comes to mind off the top of my head is the incident in Winthrop, whereas more of a hostile situation. But I see it more for looking for missing individuals, lost kids, people with mental health issues is more where I more so envision it. I know there was an incident down in the Minnesota River area by Henderson where there was a boat that was sunken in that could be used to help maybe potentially find someone in some kind of distress down there, to see if there's something that could be found easily versus trudging through the thick and the muck and the brush down there. You can fly a drone down there to be able to see different things.
But specifically in our city, it's gonna be like missing persons?
Yeah. Missing persons, like I said, the more the hostile situations as well, and then we can also team up with fire departments to give them a different, a literal bird's eye view of different situations. If there's a fire going on, give them a different advantage from that end of it too.
Is your request just for the, policy to have a open reading of it, or?
So I provided the policy just for your information at this point, but I guess for this specific request, I'm just asking to schedule the public hearing for June 17th to allow the public commentary.
What is the cost of the drone?
I've gotten a couple quotes right now, and I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's around, for the full kit for the drone, case, batteries, controller, everything, it's around $10,000.
So you have it more than covered.
Sorry?
You have it more than covered, basically, with your donations.
Yes, yep.
I assume, I mean, for fire purposes or like missing persons, I'm assuming he's gonna have like a thermal camera and all that stuff too?
Yep, that was the main intent, to have one with a thermal camera, yep.
I guess I'm fine with it as long as you got most of the cost paid for. Can't ask for that.
Yeah, good job raising that money.
I think like Michael Foods would probably be useful too, you know, they have such a big building, you know, if there's ever something on the roof, you know,
And-
ammonia or fire or something.
I've been talking to Michael Foods as well, and they're interested in helping with this program as well.
Tonight, we're looking for a motion to schedule a public hearing for 7 PM on June 17th for the purpose of considering the establishment of an unmanned aerial system policy.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Rose, seconded by Eager. Any questions or comments, discussion? Just want to reiterate what Tony said about good job raising the funds, and Leighton too. I know you've done a lot of grant writing, and this seems to be a niche for you, and you do very good work with it, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, next on our agenda is city engineer. First,
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just by way of introduction, for those watching, my name is Justin Black, City Engineer. In front of us tonight on the agenda is the results of the bid opening for the CASA 21 improvement project. So last week, we held a bid opening, and we received bids from 7 bidders. In the packet, there is a resolution that lists all of the bidders along with the bid amounts. The low bid received was from Icon LLC of Dodge Center, Minnesota. They had a bid amount of $1,755,481. We have not done work with Icon in the past, so we did request references from them. And County Engineer Tim Becker had reached out to the references, and he did contact the city of Northfield, one of the references, and they had positive comments regarding the contractor. So with that, Tim had left me a message that they're proposing to move forward with the project. So just again, in review, this is a joint powers project with Sibley County. So tonight's resolution is contingent upon Sibley County Board of Commissioners' award of the project. They're taking this to their board next week because it is a joint powers project. But as mentioned, Tim Becker said he doesn't see any issues moving ahead with the contractor. The engineer's estimate was just over 2 million, 2.2 million, so it did come in below our estimate. As far as the final costs for the project for the city, including all of the what we call project-related costs, the engineering, surveying, the land acquisition, the city's cost share will be $424,000. And the county's cost share about 1.9 million for the cost. So the other thing worth mentioning, this fall we'll be holding a assessment hearing, and we did recalculate the assessments based on the low bid amount, and the assessments did go down, so they were reduced from the estimates that we had shared with the landowners back in January, so that was good news. So with that, I'd be happy to open it up to any questions that the mayor or council might have. Otherwise, the action tonight would be the resolution accepting bid.
Questions? Then we're looking for a motion to approve resolution number 2026-13, accepting bid.
So moved.
We have a motion from Groko. Do we have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Padilla. Any other comments?
Funding for the, is this just coming out like the water and sewer funds, basically?
Yes, that's what we talked about as far as, we're not looking to bond for any of this. We're looking to utilize our fund balances.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. Next is CASA 21 improvement project.
So in front of the council is an supplemental letter agreement with SEH, with my firm, for construction-related services. This is typically what we do. We wait until the project is awarded, and then we bring forward the construction-related services. However, I will mention that the dollar amounts that I just mentioned, the $424,000, these costs are already included in that cost split. So this phase of services for us is really support during the construction project. One thing worth mentioning that's a little bit different than past city project is Sibley County has decided to take the lead on the construction portion of this project. So our role as city engineer will be more of a support staff to the county engineering team. They'll be the ones out on site. They'll be the folks dealing directly with the contractor on a day-to-day basis, scheduling the pre-construction meeting, and we'll be more in a supportive role. That being said, in the packet, there's a list of tasks and associated dollar amounts. The only dollar amount that the city would be responsible is the middle one, the construction observation city utilities. We would have staff on site when they do the water main work, and then when they also do the sewer and water casing pipes. So those were pieces that Sibley County did not feel comfortable observing, so we would have people out on site during those operations. Otherwise, all of the other work will be observed by Sibley County staff. In fact, maybe one thing I failed to mention previously is the contract between the contractor and the owner will be between Icon and Sibley County, and not Icon and the city of Gaylord. Even though the Gaylord has taken more of a lead role up to this point, there's just more of the project is Sibley County, so it felt more appropriate that they take the lead. So with that, just looking for a motion to approve the agreement, and be happy to answer any questions.
Justin, I just had a question on those tasks. Are you saying that the only fee that the city's gonna have is that $9,400?
That's correct. The rest will be the counties.
Okay.
So the construction staking, the construction administrative assistance, and the record drawings would be the county costs.
Thank you. I was gonna ask that same question.
There's going to be record drawings for the water and sewer, right?
That's correct.
This is kind of typical as far as how the county administers these. When we have a project in town, they like the city where the project is happening to enter these contracts with the engineer who's responsible for basically designing the plans and everything. So you may recall back early on when we were just starting out with this project, the city did enter a contract with SEH to do exactly that, to do everything through the bidding, from the design all the way through the bidding. And now that's completed, and now this is the next phase. And so we will be basically invoicing the county for their portions of the project, or portion of the services. And then as Justin pointed out, since the county is going to be contracting with ICON, they will be then the ones that will be responsible for the pay requests.
That's correct.
We wouldn't be administering those. They will be then invoicing us for our portions of the costs associated with that then.
And then as far as, just to reiterate, this contract, the grand total would be $9,400. Is what would be out of the.
So the grand total of the contract is $55,000.
Correct.
All of it, but $9,400 would be invoiced to the county.
Yeah, so the county will make up for everything for that.
That's correct.
So our out-of-pocket, when it's all said and done, would be 94.
That's correct.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the CASA 21 Improvement Project Construction Administration Agreement with SEH Engineering.
So move.
A motion from Rose. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Eager. Any further discussion or questions?
When's the groundbreak, or when are they planning on starting?
Likely end of June would be when they'll start. I'm sure we'll know more in the coming weeks, and we'll let the city staff know, and they can pass it on.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. Next, moving on to 9H3, the Public Works Building Project.
Just picking up from where we left off at the last council meeting, there was some discussion about making some changes to the plans and then processing those changes as a change order. So we did receive an email from Ty. He had sat down and met with city staff members and reviewed the plans in detail, and they came up with a list of changes that they would like to see to the plans. We took that list and we passed it on to the contractor, and they provided costs for each of the changes. There's 22 of them, and you should have a handout that looks like this next to you. Some of these came in just yesterday, some of the cost changes. So I guess that probably the easiest way to go through this would be just to start at the top and work our way down. And at this point, I'm going to hand it off to my associate, Darren Johnson. He's the architect. In case there's any questions about the particulars, he'd be much better equipped to answer those questions. So Darren, go ahead.
Thank you, Justin. Mayor, council members. So I'm going to read down that list, value engineering change order log that we got from the contractors, and then there may be questions in the end, and I can kind of cover those to help, clear some things up. So item number 1, remove 3 of the 5 220-volt welding plugs. There's a deduct for that of $1,157. Leaving 1 plug on both the east and the south wall, so there still would be 2 in place. Removing item number 2, remove hanging electrical cord reels above the ceiling, 2 of them. Deduct of $4,400. And those are 2 just suspended from the ceiling near the middle of the building, just for ease of connecting any power requirements for, anything that may need to happen towards the middle versus having to run an extension cord to the wall. Item number 3, remove the high-capacity shower, deduct of $470. There still would be an eye wash station there, which is required per code for that. The shower would just be adding that extra level of, if somebody got sprayed with an acidic or something like that, they could shower off versus just, cleanse their eyes, wash their eyes out. Item number 4, downsize the 65-gallon water heater. There would be a deduct of $4,100 for that. That would be going down to a 40-gallon. And the main reasoning behind that was removing that shower on that eye wash station. The demand is less, just having the eye wash versus the shower and the eye wash. Item number 5, using a tankless instantaneous water heater in lieu of the tank style. There would be a deduct of $6,100 for that. And just to clarify, items number 4 and 5, it's one or the other. It's not both. We either can downsize the 65-gallon water heater to a 40-gallon, or we can go with the tankless instantaneous water heater. And the contractor did have some concerns I want to bring forward regarding the tankless instantaneous. He said a couple things is the plumber noted that the water pressure here is typically ranges from 55 to 60 psi. Most tankless water heaters perform best at 70 to 80 psi. So operating at a lower pressure will likely reduce efficiency of that. In the tankless, we require regular maintenance at least once a year, and sometimes could be more frequently, dependently. Based on the plumber's experience, service of a similar unit with similar water pressure, the system required filter replacements and descaling 2 or 3 times a year. So a little more maintenance with that instantaneous one, and we won't know if until we kind of redo the plumbing calculations and the demand, whether we can get by with 1 tankless water heater or 2. If we got to add a second tankless water heater in order to get to the demand, basically for that eye wash station, it would be an additional $6,000 to add a second instantaneous water heater. Item number 6, remove sand interceptor. That's at the trench drain in the center area there. It's basically made to filter out the sand or salt or any debris that goes into that trench drain before it gets into the system. Deduct of $2,780. It is a code requirement. If there's any vehicle washing in the building, or if any sand or salts or stuff like that's being brought into the building, it's difficult to get the inspectors to, when you have a trench drain, to get them to remove that sand interceptor, because then they question you, why do you have a trench drain down the middle of your floor? Item number 7, remove prefab floor drain form. Oh, I'm sorry, that one was removed. Item number 10, remove the second bulk tilt tank fill located on the north wall. Deduct of $3,300. There is one in the building still on the east wall, kind of towards the center, so it's still there. It's just convenience of a second one on the far north wall there. Item number 11, remove any plumbing past the first bulk tank fill. Deduct of $1,400 for that. Remove the mixing hose bib. Deduct of $350. So there's still a hose bib there. It's a cold water hose bib versus a mixing cold water, hot water hose bib. Number 14, remove hot seat pressure washer, including all the piping. We got some piping on the back wall with some quick connects, again for convenience, and all accessories with that. That's a savings, a deduct of $32,000 for that. Item number 16, add electrical outlets every 3 to 4 feet above the workbench. So it was discussed that Public Works would be providing the workbench there, 16 feet long, 6 foot from the corner. So getting electrical outlets every 3 feet above that workbench, it would be an add of $1,625. Item number 17, add lighting over that workbench, would be an add of $849. Item number 19, remove air conditioning system from the offices. So that was just a small remote air conditioning system for those 2 offices there. Keep them cool. Deduct of $5,600. Item number 20, reduce quality of steel siding and roofing panels. So that would be going more to a lighter gauge material. It would be a 29 gauge versus a 26 gauge material. A little more susceptible from damage from any hail or being hit or anything like that. I did get confirmation that it still comes with the same warranty, whether it's 29 or 26 gauge, 40 years. That would be a deduct of $1,950 to go to that 29 gauge. Item number 21, cost associated with bringing exterior concrete apron up to the water treatment plant. That would be an add of $17,640. That would be extending the concrete apron from where we have it currently ending for the Public Works building over to the water treatment. And then item number 23 was an item that got brought up by the electrical contractor, and that's 227 480 volt main distribution panel versus a tap, gutter, and disconnect. So it's an add to go to the 227 480 volt main distribution panel of $1,754. And the difference between the two, the tap and the gutter disconnects, it's typically you see that in small commercial projects. You know, we're not going to do a large addition that demands a higher load, higher electrical load. It's easier for them to, you know, add some, a sub panel or anything like that, just for doing like a small addition, or if we're adding some small loads. The 228/7 480 volt main distribution panel is mostly used for large commercial or industrial with heavy loads on the building. The difference is, you know, the one you pay for up front. So the 227 volt 480 volt main distribution panel you pay up front. The tap and gutter you save up front, but if you do have a larger load in the future, you pay more then. So it's depends if you pay in the front end or the back end, basically. It's another way. They both do the same purpose. They both do the same thing. It really depends on the future, you know, what you do want to do for a future building addition and what loads you may have. And then PEX versus, item number 24, PEX versus copper piping and fittings. What was in the bid was PEX. There were small runs of copper on shut-off valves, disconnect lines for structural purposes. It's a little more rigidity in those areas. If you do have an option of going to PEX, you know, throughout, even at those shut-offs and disconnects, could be a possible savings. He thought of maybe around $500 for that. Copper, the advantage of copper is you got long-term durability. It resists heat more. You know, they use it more in boilers, water heater areas, or areas exposed to heat. Recyclability and longer lifespan with copper. PEX has a lower initial cost, easier installation, flexibility, and it's got some freeze resistance. Unlike copper, if it freezes, it'll bust that copper pipe, and PEX has a little flexibility in there if it does freeze. So all those items, all in, if they were all accepted, would be a deduct of $41,739. And, you know, we have the option here of either, you know, accepting, you know, some of them, rejecting some of them, and whatever we decide to do, you know, is something we can get back to the contractor on as far as moving forward with this building.
So with that bottom number, you said both 4 and 5 can't be used. It's either one or the other, so.
It is one or the other, and I think you just caught me on a correction there. So depending on which one we use, you are correct. We would take that, either the 4,100 out of there or the 6,100 out of there.
Which one are you using to come up with the number, 41,000?
It's factoring in, because of the table, it's factoring in both of them.
Oh, so really,
Yeah, I apologize for that. It's one of those Excel formulas. So that 41, the deduct of 41,739 is taking in both of those items.
Well, it sounds like 5 is kind of a no-go because of our pressure. So if we go with
I think simplicity, yeah, probably. You're just the smaller tankless, or excuse me, the smaller tanked.
Yeah. So we would probably,
So add 6,000 on there, so about 35,000, give or take.
Yes, correct, thank you.
I guess this would be a question for Ty a little bit, regarding the electrical thing. I mean, as far as future pole, I mean, the water plant's got that big disconnect in there, and I mean, if you're gonna build anything bigger out there, it'll likely come off the water plant, is my thought.
Yes, as far as the public workshop, I don't foresee the heaviest load it's gonna pull is a air compressor.
Which we already have factored into the system. And I mean, that would be a heck of an expansion to need a large.
Correct.
I'm assuming the electrician came up with that. Was there a reason he pushed for that, or just simply for future?
It's really kind of a it's, you know, electrician preference. Some like working with distribution panels, some like working with disconnects. In the end, you know, it really depends on that future, you know, expansion load that you may have. Some are easier to work with, you know, some are, you know, some electricians can work on distribution panels, you know, more than some can work on disconnects. So they're both achieving the same thing, they're both providing the same thing. It really comes down to that future need.
And I guess if we don't have that big future need, then I just leave it the way it is then.
I would agree
So
with
then
that.
that would add, we're up to 36.5 now.
I don't know that reducing the quality of steel siding and roof panels, I mean, we all know what hail can do in our area, and that's such a minor cost. To reduce the quality, do we wanna do that?
Our insurance don't cover it either way.
You know, but.
After last hailstorm, they said they won't cover it either way.
What were the recommendations from the committee with Ty and Steve, that there's nothing in any of these blocks saying what their recommendations were for any of these?
Ty, you want to come up?
What were your recommendations on this item list of what you wanted to see?
The biggest recommendation we had was adding the concrete, because the contractor's already gonna be there. It was add $17,000, but you're bringing it all the way to the water plant, which is gonna, sooner or later, it's gonna have to be done anyway, so.
Where did the steel siding thing come from? Was that from the contractor, must have
I don't know,
recommended
it
that?
didn't come from us.
What did you say?
It didn't come from Public
didn't
Works.
come from you?
No.
So the contractor must have recommended that one, or?
No, I think that was a discussion at the last council meeting that we talked about, if I recall correctly.
I don't remember.
I think as far as steel, whatever, I mean,
For
whatever everybody else does around here.
For $1,900, I think
Yeah.
it's worth it to get the heavier gauge stuff.
That's kinda what I'm thinking too.
Was there anything else on this list that stood out to you?
That, not really, that was super important, just basically the plug-ins and lights for the bench, cause
Sure.
we talked about it, and that's where Justin kind of, where he wants it. So, that gave us a good feel for what we need.
You had on the list to remove the air conditioning in the office
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that's something I wonder, like,
Well, it's
Are you
something
okay
that, I mean,
okay
everybody was kind of against it, I guess, at one of the meetings, so we just took it out.
You mean your guys are against it?
No. But, I mean, it could be added, it's something that can be added later.
well, it could be, but also is that gonna be more expensive? I mean, I look at your health and safety, you guys are working outside, there are days here where we have dangerous heat warnings. We all know humidity can wreak havoc on interior mold, things like that. I mean, I don't know how I feel about getting rid of air.
Whatever the council is, I thought I kind of got the urge from the council, one of those meetings, that was overkill for having air conditioning in offices, so.
Not to mention, I've mentioned this
That's
last,
up, I mean, that's up to the council.
when
whether
we
they
talked
wanna
about
add
it, the
or
pool,
not.
the computers have overheated because
Yeah.
on those hot days, and then we're out computer equipment costs.
I mean, it wasn't it's something we got rid of just because we felt that's what the council was kind of pointing towards. We kind of want to move this forward a little bit.
Well, it'd be worse to see with like a little window unit in with a little stick underneath it.
Right, yeah, so. said, that's kind of up to council whether they want to put that back in or leave it out, so.
Yeah, I think an upgrade to the siding, leaving it where it is, and the air conditioner, I don't know, it's always just nice to have a place to go, plus, like the mayor was saying, just your computer stuff, those are good upgrades as well as the concrete, if that's what you guys want.
Well, my biggest concern is health and safety. I mean,
Yeah.
there are times where people need air conditioning on those days where it is dangerous because of heat.
And they're gonna have a meeting or whatever, just to go in there,
Well, they could be taking their lunch breaks there too and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
There is ceiling fans in the bay though too, right?
Correct.
So, just so you know.
That doesn't do a lot when it's
No, but I just wanted to point out that, you know, there is air
94
movement.
degrees with high humidity. That does nothing. And then it
Put the
sounds,
air back in.
yeah, I would put the air back in. I mean, I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but,
Yeah, I agree with you.
and then it sounds like 6, when will we know if this is required? It sounds like that's required by code, so we're gonna have to do number 6 too.
As far as 6 goes, though, I mean, we're not having a pressure washer in there no more. And then you're
But don't we have a portable pressure washer that will be used to wash vehicles?
outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's
What
one of
about-
those things where it might be tough for the inspector to acknowledge that, since there is a floor drain in there and there's hose bibs in there, you know, if you're gonna be doing washing, and then if you're gonna bring salt trucks in there, sand trucks in there, all that, kind of triggers that,
There's
that
a shop
sand
across
interceptor.
town that just got built 2 years ago that don't have it.
Yeah, I wish I can answer that, but I don't know.
I don't think it's, we have an oil water separator that's gonna do the exact same thing. All it is labeled differently. It's no different than at the other shop in town, and it's never had to be pumped out ever. It's just more maintenance.
I guess at the end of the day,
And it-
like he's saying, if the inspector requires it, we're not gonna have a
Yeah.
choice.
So we'll see what he says. But this, I mean, having a car wash, mine only get pumped out about every 2 years. You know,
I
and so
understand.
that's what I'm saying, like, it's just not,
But we know.
and we don't have a pressure
I think
washer that
it's-
we're washing it regularly.
I think it's fair to say though, that they're going to be washing vehicles inside. I mean, during the winter and stuff like that, they're gonna be washing vehicles inside.
Every garage in town should have it then too.
That's what they do, I guess. I know, I realize that there's dripping and stuff coming off.
I think we leave it and then see what the inspector says. If they want it, then it goes in and, because it's gotta go through state planning review anyways, so.
Is that something that could cost us money after the fact, after, if,
2780 probably. Because, I mean, it's gotta go through, it's gotta be gone through the inspector beforehand anyways, so he would call it out before we even start.
I think it's one of those things that you just leave in for now and then let the inspector decide, and if he says, no, you don't have to do it, then we can just do a change order to get it out later. Just admit it at that point.
Well, once it's in, it's gonna be in. Like I said, I think you leave it out until, if he wants it, then you just throw it in.
And we could check ahead of time here, I guess, with the inspector. Have you talked to him at all yet?
We could circle back to him and see what he says on it, see what his comment is. I mean, it doesn't hurt, you know.
I guess my thing, what I was trying to ask you is, if after the fact they said that we have to have that, is it gonna cost more than $2,700 to put it in?
How much would it cost to use a drawing that we have done today?
I can tell you that if that floor gets poured, I mean, that's something that's below that floor. So if it doesn't go in and it's something that needs to be added because he flagged it or something, you gotta cut up the floor.
But it's gotta go through the inspector before anything starts.
Correct.
And so it ain't about, just forget that we're starting on it already. It's gotta be reviewed by the inspector prior. So
Correct.
if it needs to go in there, he will say, hey, it needs to be in there before any shovels get moved.
Yes.
And so don't pretend like we're gonna be pouring and then he's gonna add stuff all of a sudden.
Mhm. Yep.
So it'd be something where it'd be brought up to the inspector. If the inspector's fine with it, then it's fine. And like I said, I know there's buildings in town that have been built recently that they don't have it. I mean, I know it's only $2,700, but then long-term, you have to go through pumping it out or anything like that, and it's just another item on the floor. And I mean, just in an effort to keep it simple and straightforward, and is my thought.
I agree, because if he doesn't agree, they don't go, I mean.
But once it's in there, then they're just gonna sign
Yeah,
off on it.
correct. Yep.
I mean, it's still $2,700, I guess, so.
So do you guys have what you need from us then?
I'm sorry.
Do you have what you need from us as far as these items on the list?
I think we just need final, agreement on whether they're accepted or rejected, on each of the items.
So just to review, we're doing the smaller tanked water heater, adding the AC, no sand interceptor, and then remaining with the thicker stage steel, as well as remaining with the current electrical panel.
Those are the changes we talked about. I just want to clarify your statement since it's on the record, removing the sand interceptor unless required.
Sure.
I
Yep.
just want to make sure that,
Pending review of by the
yes,
building
yes,
inspector.
I just want to be clear on that.
Which that's something, if the building inspector comes, I mean, just, if the inspector says it's gotta go in, I mean, I don't think it has to come back to us to do it. I mean, it is what it is, so.
Any
Yeah,
other
yep.
thoughts on any of these items? Ty, anyone else?
Thank you for looking into all these. I mean, it's a bigger building in town and a big project, and it's been years in the making, so we appreciate you guys and Ty and the group looking into this stuff, so. I'm sure there's gonna be other questions that come up, but it's nice getting this head start.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And tonight, we just needed a consensus on this, right? We did, okay.
Justin, maybe this is a question for you. So we'll be working on the contract documents at this point in time, and then would these changes come in after the contract is signed by the parties then? How does that work?
So what we'll need to do is we'll have to revise the plans. We'll have to revise the documents so that they match this change order. And then the contract with the owner contractor agreement would get signed the same time this change order would get signed. So it becomes part of the original contract.
Okay.
And then the goal is to break ground in probably June as well, at some point.
Yeah, I mean, with accepting that alternate for a post-frame building, it's really gonna be dependent on that. We'll have to work with the contractor, because they gotta get, the drawings generated for that, and then submitted for building permit and plan review. And, I can get a closer timeline from him on that.
Keep us up to date.
Yeah, yep.
Mark, in light of this change order will be part of the original contract, the council probably should take a motion then this evening to approve these changes.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Do you need them listed again?
I think maybe you could just simply say the changes would be approved as discussed, something along that line. Don, we're going to need a motion to approve these.
Okay.
The better grade steel is in.
Yes.
Maybe we should just, for everybody's sake, we should just go down, probably the ones that are rejected here. That's probably easier. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think we had number 5 was being rejected.
Yes.
Number 4 is just reduced down to a 40-gallon
Mhm.
water heater. Number 6 is being checked on, or that'll be decided by the building inspector, but I'm trying to remember here, are we removing that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, remove it pending review,
okay,
or remove it and then
got it. Yep.
see what happens.
And then we go down to number 19,
Yes.
air conditioner, that would be left in. The siding and steel, again, left in or left as it was. And then number 2022, the last one, again, that'll be removed. We won't be upgrading. Did I miss anything?
It's everything. So would anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to, well, how do you need it worded again?
Just say as proposed.
Okay, to move forward with this as proposed, as discussed.
Second.
So we have a motion from Rose, seconded by Eker. Any further discussion or comments? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and 9H4, we have future capital improvement projects plan.
You guys are taking turns.
We are switching back and forth, so I don't lose my voice here. I do have a map that I'd like to share with the council, so if you'll give me just a minute, I will make a connection here. All right, good evening again. The time goes by fast, but in front of us is our annual review of the capital improvement map or capital improvement plan for the city of Gaylord. And I'd like to just start over in the upper right-hand corner. I'll briefly go through each of the projects, and then, of course, stop me at any time for questions. But going up to the upper right-hand corner, we've got a couple of projects that can, quite honestly, come off the list for next year. The first is the CASA 21 project that we just awarded bids for the contract. So that'll come off the list. And then the street shop project was also at the very top of the list. Moving down from there on the side panel here, the next project that we have slated in 2027 is some improvements at the water plant. Right now, just order of magnitude or ballpark 1.4 to 1.6 million. And I know that Ty's gone through that estimate and cut a few things out, so it might come in a little bit below that. But that's a project that we're looking at for next year already. We've been looking at funding opportunities, and our firm has a funding specialist, and she's actually found some grant dollars that may be eligible for this project. It's related to manganese removal, and it could cover up to 50% of the cost. So that's something that we're looking more into, and we'll keep the council updated. In addition to that, we'd also be eligible for a PFA low-interest loan. We don't have the exact interest rate, but typically what I've seen in the past for PFA loans, usually are around 2%. So again, we'll come back with more information there. So the project could be fully funded between a 50% grant and a PFA loan, which would be really beneficial for the city in not having to expend local dollars for that project. But that's something that will likely be coming back to you here in the next couple of months to talk more about. One of the things we'd like to talk about is doing a pilot study out at the plant. We actually bring in a trailer, and it's like a mini water treatment plant. And we do some studies to see what type of filter media and what type of contact times would be most beneficial. And then we can use that to help decide what we want to do with the plant. So that's something coming up in the future. The next one on the list here is a water main boring project, and we've put some numbers on here that are pretty high-level estimates. We'll fine-tune those, but I'm just going to go over to the map here. At a couple of meetings ago, we talked about doing a water main boring project in the alley here. The city's had a number of breaks in that alley, and this would be a great project to replace that water main. And we'll take a look at some options, whether it's a boring or a pipe bursting, and what the final costs are. But that's another project that we've got slated for 2027. I'm going to scroll back over the list over here. Lake Titlow Dam, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. I know the city's still looking at some of the grant agreements and considerations there. For the time being, we have it slated at 2028, but that may change. Going down to the actual street project list, now we've kind of changed our past, standard practice has been to not necessarily list a year of construction, but more of a project priority. So we've got these listed 1 through 5, and you see we've got a 2 and a 2A, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But project 1, or priority project number 1, that we've talked about in past years is 3rd Street. From the highway all the way up to Lincoln Avenue. If you've driven it, it's got a lot of patches. Ty and the city staff has done a great job of kind of holding things together, but the street is literally falling apart, and we know that the underground utilities, the water and sanitary sewer, are also very old. So this would be a project where we would completely reconstruct all of the underground utilities, roadway, and rebuild the infrastructure. And we're estimating this project around $3 million. Moving to project number 2 and 2A, This year, we split up the Sibley Avenue project. In past years, this was all one project. This is downtown Sibley Avenue, and then we had a block of Third and a block of Fifth. We split the project up this year after having a meeting with Ty and Steve. And the thought behind that was maybe moving forward with a portion of Project 2. This is 2A, which would be Sibley from Highway 22 to Highway 19, and then a block of Fifth. For a couple of reasons. One, just the condition of the street and the underground utilities, probably some of the oldest utilities in town, in downtown there. And then also so that we'd have the ability to reconstruct the sidewalks and make them pedestrian accessible for the senior center and also for all of the businesses along there. But by splitting this up, we made it a little bit more affordable from the standpoint of just the cost, keeping it down around 2 million, rather than if we combine the two, we're up around 3.4 million. And quite honestly, in discussing with Ty, this section of Sibley and Third does not get a lot of traffic. Most of the traffic is Sibley going to the west from 22. So this is maybe, splitting this I think was a good idea. We can always combine them back together. Right now it's just a line on a map. But this would maybe be a project that would get deferred to a later date until we get some of these other priority projects done. The rest of the projects I'll go through a little more quickly. Project number 3 is right kind of in the heart of the community, High Avenue, Jefferson, and then Fifth. We did do a 1-inch overlay on these streets a few years ago, so we're kind of holding together the surface. But again, this is priority number 3 when we're looking at the projects as a whole. We've got an estimate of about 3 million on that project. And then project number 4 would be some blocks of Main Street and then the rest of 10th Street. And that's approaching 4 million. That's a larger project, but that's down a little bit further on the list, priority 4. Project number 5 was just kind of a scattering of different streets. This would be more of a reclaim and overlay type project, so more of just street surfacing, not so much utilities. Maybe the exception to that is we did include a cost for extending Shoreview Lane. And again, this is the lowest priority. So this is out the longest when we're looking at the timeline. But nonetheless, we wanted to include it in the map. The last one we listed was just kind of a general cured in place pipe sanitary sewer lining and manhole lining for just this whole section of the city. And we understand that the city's maybe taking an approach of doing a few blocks a year, and I think that's a great idea, just to kind of chip away at it rather than doing a larger project. But we wanted to at least note it as a priority on the map, and you're well aware of that. That's an area where the pipes need to be lined. They're all in the alleys, and it would help with the I&I situation. So with that, I'll scroll back out kind of the project map as a whole and open it up for any questions, or if there's any questions or discussion, about priorities 1 and 2 and how they might play out.
Ty, I know I talked to Steve about this. Did you have a chance in the past couple of weeks to go look at the utilities down in the manholes on Third versus Sibley? Yeah. So, I mean, is there a big difference, or is it kind of horse apiece, or?
Sibley Avenue's got quite a bit less. The 2 blocks, there's water on both blocks, but sewer is only 3/4 of a block dead end off of 6th Street. 3rd Street, you're talking about 4.5 to 5 blocks of sewer, plus all the water too, and some storm sewer. So there's a bunch of infrastructure over there, not so much over here.
As far as the shape it's in, I mean, did it look? 3rd Street, is that, I know some of the sanitary, or the storm is.
3rd Street's actually holding together pretty well as far as that mastic project we did. And we've been doing some smaller patches in front of people's driveways, that kind of thing. That mastic is actually showing signs of starting to fall apart already on Sibley, just because of the heavy traffic, the semis. It gets so much more traffic than 3rd Street does, so. That's probably a higher priority as far as traffic-wise goes. And it's a lot less infrastructure also. like Justin said, over here, this L shape with Sibley and Third, it's so little used that that one block of Sibley over there, that'll last for another 100 years.
Well, we just patched that manhole too. So
Yeah, so.
Steve, I'm sorry.
I'll let you go. Sorry. I thought you meant me go ahead, so.
I just have a question from a financial standpoint, these projects, 3 million, 2 million, the water plant and the water boring the same year. I mean, can the city afford to do all these projects that are kind of like listed on here for those dollar amounts without taxes continuing?
Well, some of these that are water-related, they're going to be paid out of the water fund, basically. And so as Justin pointed out, we may have some opportunities here as far as the plant improvements that might really work out in our favor. The timing might really be well. The water main borings, again, that would be borne out of the water fund versus taxes or tax levy. So at least in the next couple years, 27, the Lake Titlow Dam, there on the other hand, that would be likely a general fund or that would be a levy. So that would be a general obligation bond probably, so that would trigger a levy then.
But there could be county commitment on that too.
Yeah, there would be some monies that we've already been earmarked for, and hopefully we'll get fortunate and get some additional funding for it.
So we have like a 27 as a reprieve year and 28 is when the general fund.
Potentially, yes. And of course, whenever you'd be looking at doing the next street project, if we're looking at Sibley Avenue or Third, I would guesstimate we're probably I'm thinking around 28, 29 at the latest for our next street improvement project.
I like what you put together, Justin. It's just so much needs to
There is,
so
yeah.
much cost.
It's good to review each year, so I appreciate the comments, and like I said, we purposely don't put dates on the street projects just so that people know they're there and there's a
Yeah.
priority, so that we're thinking about them, but we can come back later and put dates on them.
All the remaining portion of it? Yeah.
Street shop was what, 2016 too? As far as bonds, do we have any that are gonna be getting paid off in the next couple of years?
Unfortunately, no.
Or when's the next one that's gonna be done?
Roughly 2030.
Oh, save a little while there. Cause I mean, 2028, we have the, even if hopefully the county will help out a little bit with that, but I mean, if we have $500,000 to $1 million there, and then we have a fire truck that year as well, we're at $1.5 million already for bonding. I just throwing it out there on top of your, you don't see a fire truck in there, or an ambulance too coming up, but, or a Forever Young Center, or
Yeah.
anything else.
The list goes on.
Or a roof. I guess as far as I know last meeting, as far as the Forever Young Center, I guess if there's any way to get that Sibley Avenue done, I mean, one, you have a lot of traffic, but then two, to, I guess, make that a little bit more egressible for them as far as the sidewalks and everything. We've stuck a lot of money into Third Street, kind of holding it together, as far as flip-flopping those two. And that's just throwing an idea out there. I guess no matter what you do, it's kind of they're both crappy roads.
Yeah.
But like I said, it'd be nice to get the Forever Young Center, like I said, get them some nice access, and it's in our downtown and making it look pretty. And then we could maybe throw on maybe some of that mill and overlay with it.
Yes, yeah, we could definitely add some of Project 5 to that. Maybe, the A Street, which lines right up with that, or Sibley, excuse me, up to A Street would be an option, so.
Just because, I mean, that way your projects are kind of close to each other. As far as the contractors, when they come, that way they're not like scattered all across town. You have dump trucks and machinery moving all over the place. It's nice when
Sure.
they're kind of contained,
Yes,
and just, I mean, obviously it's a lot of money, but just keep chipping away at little things
Yeah.
too. And Ty, I guess if you have any input on that.
Yeah, what you said about actually, I think I just might have talked to Justin or Steve, one of you two, about if we do like a Sibley and that one block of Fifth, the one block of South Commercial down there, it's literally the only block left south of the tracks that hasn't been done. And we patched it this year, but it's alligating and it needs to be replaced that's where the truck route is from all down where the shop and water plant is, that's the truck route, so it gets used quite often too, but that'd be a good one to add into that project.
Okay, so tonight we just need a motion to approve the updated future capital improvement projects plan.
Were you gonna?
Do we want to flip
Yeah.
those, or?
Flip
mean-
the priorities, I'm fine with that if
Just-
someone wants to make that motion.
Yeah, I mean, these can obviously change year to year as we come
I
up.
mean,
but
they don't have a year, it's just switching the priority.
Yeah, we definitely can do that. If that's something the council can do, we can make that change, and then I'll send the map to Steve after that change is made.
And maybe just keep it easy, just flip-flop them too, and then as far as the mill and overlay, we'll just kind of trickle that in, and, because I mean, always we'll change it every year, and
Right, and that's okay.
so.
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the capital improvement plan with that change we talked about?
I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion from Padilla, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Groko, any further discussion or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, motion carried. Okay,
One quick question.
Sure.
As far as that water plant, when's that, I mean, when do we have to start planning for that? Like this year, or that'd be more of a next year start planning?
We should start planning for that this year yet. So likely this summer, we'll be coming to you with kind of some preliminary steps and a schedule.
That's all.
and as far as those funding opportunities, like, does your agency like go after those, or do you need our involvement
Yes.
to apply for those grants?
We'll have involvement from both Steve and Ty.
Okay,
The next date that's coming up is June 6th for the intended use plan. So we've already got some folks that are working on pulling the information together. But we'll be in touch with Steve and Ty, and they'll relay information to you too.
perfect, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, nothing under unfinished business, so moving on to new business, we have 11A, ordinance number 384, an ordinance amending the City of Gaylord zoning code.
This is actually a correction that was brought to our attention. This was a typo that's in our zoning code. It's under the section referred to as off-street parking, related to the number of parking spaces required in the downtown. It's just, again, it's a simple typo. Here, it currently states parking in the B3 Central District, Business District. B3 is actually our highway district. B1 is all, it should be referred to as B1. So all we're doing is changing that number, and that's the only change.
Okay,
So I went through the planning and zoning, they held a public hearing last week on it, and they're recommending approval.
so we're looking for a motion to adopt ordinance number 384, an ordinance amending the City of Gaylord zoning code.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Rose, seconded by Eker. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. Moving on to 11B, we have the annual wage review.
And maybe that's a little misleading. We haven't done one for a few years.
Yes.
And so I did reach out to David Drown Associates, who has done them in the past for us, and just asked them to give us a quote. So I'm just bringing it to your attention and see if you're interested in pursuing and looking at this again. It's been a few years. As I pointed out in the action sheet, the last time we completed one was in 2022 for fiscal year '23. So it has been a few years. They were kind enough to provide a few different options for us, and hopefully you've had a chance to read through them, but the one I guess I was leaning towards is their second option, which includes everything in option number one, but basically it would create or refine our salary grid is kind of a big thing. They would also do a comparison, so they would have like a test group again. In the past, we've had like 20 other cities that we've compared our wages up with, and we can review that and pick this, either go with the same communities or cities that we did before, or we could tweak that. The one I guess the one that stood out to me on that list was Winthrop was not included in that, and I think that would be appropriate to have them in there. But then also, by looking at creating or looking at a new salary grid. I guess part of the reason I'm interested in that is we have, I think, of all of our full-time staff, we basically only have 2 that are currently not maxed out as far as the salary chart. Everybody else is already at the maximum, and those remaining 2 will be there next year. And so we're basically already to the end of that salary chart. And I guess I would propose that we look at recreating that, or at least looking at some other, some possible models as far as options for looking at a new salary chart. The other part of this too is that they would be running the pay equity. If there is any changes, that they would ensure that we would be in compliance, and so they would do the tests that are required for that. And this would be timely, and that our pay equity report is due again next year, so every 3 years we're required to do that. And so at the end of this year, we'll be utilizing this year's salary, wages, and stuff to formulate that report that we're required to submit at the end of January. The other options, the first option, I guess I felt it just didn't really get us really too much information. The third option, there are some things in there like writing job descriptions. Well, we just completed all those. We don't really need to go through that exercise again. I think there's some things in here, you know, that it's just over and above what we actually need. And so I guess my feeling was the second one would probably be the best fit.
Did we budget for this?
No, we didn't.
Well, then
So I
maybe
was-
we should put it in the budget to do it for the following year, because when we continue to bring stuff that isn't budgeted for, it gets to be hindrance. I mean, look at how much money we've already spent tonight. And then you're adding more and more that you didn't budget for, we didn't budget for. So then what would be the problem to wait until next year when the pay equity report is due?
And that's, certainly you can do that. I did just try to figure out where we could budget it. One area this year, you know, and coming up here after this item is we're going to be talking about possibly hiring somebody to do a drone video to showcase our community. The cost of that contract is $4,000. We actually budgeted $10,000 for that in the EDA, so that would be an option as far as where we could get the monies to do this. Typically, when I do budget or present it to you guys for consideration, I try to be conservative, so I try to be a little bit high on the expenses and low on the revenues, just to give us some cushion. The last couple of years, we've done pretty well as far as the budget is concerned. So,
And this would be for all employees, right? I mean,
What?
this would be for all employees, all the way from lifeguards, all the way on up to View? Or is this kind of focusing on full-time people?
this is
or
basically focusing on the full-time positions, yes,
including the police department?
yes.
And I guess to kind of build off that a little bit is, I mean, obviously there's a little bit of things going on with that is, I mean, I'd hate, is there a price difference? Let's say we decide to go ahead with this tri-line thing. Now we're gonna do all this work and have them look into all these wages. I mean, does it make sense to do that when there's a chance that we might go this a different direction anyways? I mean, does that make a difference in the cost, or?
I don't know if it'll make much of a difference in the cost. You certainly could admit that.
I mean, I'm just asking.
And also, isn't the police contract going to be coming due? Aren't we going to be starting negotiations again soon?
Yeah.
I can maybe help figure out where we're at.
I just have
I
a
know that, but
question
it's still- it's not
regarding some of these wage studies things. I think that there's an ability to look at a League of Minnesota Cities pay. They have a big pay study that's done that all cities submit to, or a lot of cities, I should say, submit to, and it seems like it's a good source, just so you have an idea if we're like way out of whack. So if we don't do that this year, I think that you can look at that. That doesn't cost us any money, and just pull out cities that are maybe 1,500 people more than us and 1,500 less, and that'll give you a good idea. When you're talking about the top of the pay scale, I think that's good that our people are all getting towards that top of that pay scale, but does that mean that we're underpaying, or does it mean that, because everybody was in the 90+ percentage the last time we did this pay study. So are we now underpaying? Is that what you're implying by everybody's hitting the top of the scale, or? what are your thoughts?
Potentially. I mean, again, we haven't done this for a few years now, so I don't know for a fact. I think it would be something that would be helpful to have that, so we are, at least have that knowledge that we're at least comparing up well. As far as the league's salary survey, you're correct. We actually participate in that
Yeah.
each year. One of the challenges with that is the data comes out a little later in the year, so we don't always have the most current, when it comes to our budgeting time periods, and when we're looking at adopting the preliminary anyway, we might not have that information at that point in time or built in.
Yeah,
But, I mean, there's data there, yes. If nothing else, we're going off of something.
yeah, I mean, if the consensus is to wait, I think that that's something that you could do for free, that can just kind of show if we're really out of whack, because I don't think any of us want to be, underpaying our people so much that it's not fair to them, but that's just an easy thing that we can do internally to just check the block and see where we're at. If we find out that our maintenance guys are severely underpaid, we can address that immediately.
Just to throw, I mean, face the fact is what's gonna happen is we'll probably do this, and then come August, we're all gonna go back and forth and say 2.5% or 3.5% and settle on 3% either way. And, and so if we're gonna spend $5,500, I guess I'd rather just see that split between everybody and be done. I mean, honestly, because, like I said, is what's gonna happen, we pay David Drown to do this, all right, fine, well, we're just gonna do 3% anyways. That's how it always seems to go. I mean, obviously you wanna be competitive, but at that point, you're kind of blowing money away to do the same thing we're gonna do either way.
Right, and I
No,
don't know, I'm
and-
just getting to, it's to the point where when something's not on the budget, we're not even halfway through the year yet. And the only thing that we should be doing that's not on our budget is emergency stuff. I mean, this we can plan for at least every 3 years to put it on in, because we have to do the page study for the equity report, correct? Every 3 years?
Yes.
And I just think that there's too much going on, we're spending a lot of money. And just to keep adding stuff that's not in our budget isn't fair. It's not. We do budgets for a reason.
Well, you can kind of do what Tony said too. I mean, you can look at that
Yeah.
website and figure, and I mean, be honest with yourself where everybody's at.
Well, and you can do that too, but that doesn't help with the pay equity or the wage scale if we need to look at that. So, but I do think we should do this regularly, and if pay equity is every 3 years, then we should just have it on our radar every 3 years. And we kind of let it go.
We're gonna have to review it. I mean, we
Yeah.
know from the last study done that wages have changed a lot.
Yes.
And so we know we're gonna have to compare with something. If it's the League of Minnesota
Right.
Cities, to give us some idea, but we'll have to look at
But
something.
I feel like that's just a piece of it. So, I mean,
It
if we want to
is.
look at that now, great, but
But we'll
And
still
I-
have
I
to do
should
that,
think that
yeah.
we should wait till it's on our budget, because we know we have to do it every 3 years. And every 3 years, it should just be on our budget to do
yeah.
Mhm.
No, I like that idea. When is the pay equity due? It's,
next year.
End of
End of
January,
January next year.
okay.
next year.
2020,
Yep, so it'll be based on this year's wages.
okay.
Could we budget for it for next year and then just have them do it and bill it out in January? Because, I mean, how long does it take to go through this process? A couple months?
Yeah, I don't think it'll take some too long.
Because basically, if they'll bill us out in January then. That way it's done before that, pay equity. And then we can budget,
They've
we can
been
budget
kind
for
of
it
doing
too.
it, because I know that we've actually even paid them a thing to keep it updated too.
Like a maintenance.
The hard part is, they do it for every other town. All they do is go on the computer and pull out the information.
Right.
So I mean, it shouldn't take them that long, because I mean, we did pay for the annual, or whatever, for how many years to update us.
I might have to start doing these for $500.
Okay, so the council's consensus is to wait till next year to review this? We can
To
budget
make
for
sure
it.
that it's
Yeah,
in a
to put it
budget
in our
item.
budget
Okay,
for next year.
Could we in the meantime do kind of what Tony said, just see where we're at least?
Yeah, I will
get
do,
some
I'll be
ideas,
doing
'cause,
that.
I mean, I don't want
I'll
to
pull
push it
what I,
off either.
I'll pull whatever I can, whether it's last year's data. If this year's available, I'll obviously grab that.
At least that way we know what to expect a little bit. Because, I mean, if we wait till next year and let's say we're off by a lot, well, then we have to budget for wages changing too then. And then
Yeah,
we
but
don't have
we
that budget.
talking about wages at the end of the year, I mean, closer to the end of the year as well, after.
Correct, but I mean, it's if we have to adjust something for that pay equity, well, now that's something we have to come up with our, budget in August here.
Sure.
You know, so next year if all of a sudden I'm just gonna exaggerate, 20 grand all of a sudden we have to come up with for wages, exaggerating hopefully, but, it'd be nice to at least have an idea where we're gonna be. Plus, like Tony said, it's cheap, free that way. Just doing our own little homework.
Okay. So moving on to 11C, we have the Gaylord drone video production agreement.
So the EDA has been talking about this last year. We've brought this up I think during work sessions or in past meetings. They're proposing to do a drone video of the community, basically showcasing it. I included this is on page 150 of your packet. But basically, that we would be able to showcase our community, highlighting our parks, businesses, schools, community events, et cetera. And then we would make that available on our website. We'd make it available probably on our Facebook page. But anything that, you know, it's just another way of advertising our community to anybody that might be interested in looking at us or moving here or establishing a business. So the EDA board did solicit a quote from Connor Dice, who is also doing business as Dice Media, and he submitted a proposal for $4,000. And included in your packet, we have an agreement. The EDA board is recommending that we would enter this agreement with Mr. Dice. And so actually had Mark review this as well. And so it's a pretty straightforward and pretty short agreement here. But that's their recommendation. Again, we budgeted $10,000. We weren't sure at the time what it was going to cost. We had received another quote from another company, and that's where the $10,000 originated from.
So tonight we're looking for a motion to approve the Gaylord drone video production agreement between the city of Gaylord and Connor Dice, also known as Dice Media.
I'll make that motion.
A motion from Padilla, do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Eker, any comments or discussion?
I just have one question. Steve, do you have any idea how long the video is gonna be? Once it's completed, is it like 30 seconds, is it a minute?
I think
He's- Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. He's proposing, like, there'll be a longer video, but then there'll also be like snippets so that we can share that on social media, so people don't get like overwhelmed.
Sure.
So he might do like a highlight of like our town festivals will be like a short clip, and then a short clip of, you know, our business district. So, from that longer video where he's interviewing people and gathering information and going more in depth, he'll just cut shorter
Nice.
reels. That's what everyone, Instagram reels or Facebook reels that we can share.
Sure.
So,
Available property for sale.
yes.
I was actually just gonna say, is our properties listed on our website?
Our city
They
property,
are property that we own.
all the city property you're talking about? Not
I mean, if
necessarily.
that's something too, I mean, as far as advertisement, I was gonna bring it up at the end, but just since you mentioned it, having our properties for sale on our website.
Oh, the ones that we,
And this video is part of like
Yeah.
the EDA's goal of having like a toolbox on our website, so you can go to the city properties for sale. So if people are interested in Gaylord, like they can go there and get everything they need to move here or to start a business here. And this video is kind of like the big attraction to the town to really highlight us, and then we'll have other information like those things.
So like, how many hours is he going to be doing, or how is this gonna be done? I mean, so, you said our, like, extravaganza, he'll be out doing that,
Yep.
and how much time is with this?
Well, we gave them pretty much a whole list of all those events, and
I mean,
gonna be trying to basically get all of them and then editing and putting it together. I mean, I'm assuming there'd be a decent amount of time that goes into this based on, my brother does drone videos and stuff too, and I mean, it's amazing how quickly a day can go by that you have into some of the stuff.
right,
And he does it just for kind of his own leisure.
right.
Yeah, he's gonna be interviewing people too, you said?
Yes, yep.
Yeah.
I guess I see it in part two as it's a local, I wouldn't say local business, but somebody, you know, you're kind of supporting somebody who's got local ties versus hiring some person from St. Paul or Minneapolis or whatever.
Yeah. And we
And-
did,
which is kind of a double, I think it's a neat thing.
yeah, agree. Yeah, and we've seen examples of his work, and it's very professional.
He had stated that it would be completed after the first of the year.
So we have the, do we vote on the
Yeah,
motion?
no, we haven't.
No.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried. Moving on to 11D, we have scheduled CenterPoint Energy franchise agreement renewal public hearing.
So with our utility companies that provide service here in town, like CenterPoint and Excel Energy, and even our cable companies like MediaCom and RS Fiber, we have franchise agreements with them. Under state law, we're allowed to require, we can require franchise agreements. We've had a standing agreement with CenterPoint Energy. It's actually, it was originally a 20-year agreement. It's very common that these utility companies, they will ask for the maximum by law that they can have for this. So this is not uncommon that we had a 20-year agreement, which now expires here in next month in June. And so we're proposing to renew that franchise agreement with CenterPoint. One of the things that would be required is that we would have to hold a public hearing on that. The agreement itself is actually in the format of an ordinance, which is not uncommon, but we do have to go through the hearing process. We being Mark and I, have been communicating with CenterPoint, and there are some small changes proposed to the existing agreement. They're generally in line with state statute, and so there's, I guess, we're comfortable with what's being proposed here. We did go back and forth a little bit with those changes, and I think we're at a point now where we're satisfied. Looking at setting the hearing for June 17th, there is, at this point in time, I've been told there will be a representative from CenterPoint present at the meeting.
Okay, so tonight we need a motion to schedule a public hearing for 7 PM on June 17th, 2026 for the purpose of considering an ordinance to grant CenterPoint Energy a franchise to operate, repair, and maintain facilities for the transportation, distribution, and sale of gas energy for public and private use in the public ways of the city of Gaylord.
So moved.
Motion by Groko. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Padilla. Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried. Anything else?
Yes. Sorry, Jessica. I gotta be fast, because I know what you're
That
gonna
was
do.
very fast.
Steve, I just have a question pertaining, we talked about this list before of kind of like ongoing projects that we have and just kind of wondering the status of. And like, for example, the Moto Primo update, or I was over by Brian's the other day, and that the blocks, are they still cracked? Have they not been fixed?
Or the planter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the Wagenia's property, or just some of these things that, you know, are going on, that, can we write it on a board, just so, or however you
Yeah, I'm sorry,
see fit to do it.
I'm behind on getting out that spreadsheet that I created that you may, and which provides the updates, so I'll get that out to you guys.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, I just wonder when I see things, and do you know what's happening? Is that planter, is that gonna be fixed, or?
Yeah, Ty did get a quote last fall for doing it. I just asked him a couple weeks ago, or last week, about it, and he was gonna check on as far as their schedule. The light over there too, the light fixture was
Yeah.
damaged and had to be replaced. They actually did replace it, but he said that they replaced it with the wrong fixture. And so it's gonna be in place for now until they get the other one in.
As far as that light fixture, I mean, could we get an update too, as far as the other one got hit by a semi? I mean, where that's at, if they've found anybody, or if that's moving along?
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's little things, but just,
And I'm
Tony,
wondering
like-
about the library as well.
Yep.
Where the car ran into the.
oh no, that's a garage door. That way you can pull in.
Do we have anything knowing when that might?
No, I don't know. I mean, again, we did get a quote for doing that work last year. Don't know offhand. I asked about 3 weeks. I think that one's been about 3 weeks ago when I asked about that.
Is there, you know, that lot, is the gas station gonna go in there and clean that out now? Is there a plan for that?
Clean out what
No,
lot?
that
Over to like
basement.
Brian's over here. I think.
Brian's, yeah.
Oh.
Aren't they moving on that now?
Yeah, they're basically gonna be adding in some more dirt, and then our guys will seed it, and then they'll stop logs that are in there, that'll all get removed out of there when they add the dirt.
So they don't have to clean that whole area out? I thought that they, because of the contamination that they had.
That's already done.
Oh, it's already done.
That was done when they did the initial demolition. Shortly, it was right, they took down the building, got the building out of there, and then they did the contamination cleanup right away,
Perfect. All right.
because Austin did the work. I was actually out there when they were doing it,
Supervising?
just checking. I was curious how much it was.
Thank you.
Making sure we're getting our money's worth.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn by Eker. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Groko. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Meeting adjourned.